This presentation is dedicated to the Ethiopian race and all reason and all its benefits, preparation and all its benefits, liberation and all its benefits, knowledge and all its benefits, justice and all its benefits, resurrection and all its benefits. The following is the foreword of Moonset and Sunrise in the Nature of Nature. Point 1. Listen to reason. The mental powers of this presentation are the mental powers of absolute nature called Nupu, pronounced Nu-Pu. This correct information prepares the reader to understand the books entitled Introduction to the Nature of Nature, also written by Afro Unu, the philosopher and messenger of the original creator of the universes known as Nupu. Nupu indeed is sound right reason, pure intelligence, and resurrectionist of the mental dead. The mental dead are all persons who do not really know enough ethereal knowledge about positive nature to keep themselves mentally alive enough by reason to practice the laws of nature and adhere to the nature knowledge given in nature science, as this mental liberation news demonstrates. Sound right reason also is called nine reason. And nine reason is Nupu, the sunlight of mentality in the positive. The number 9 represents the positive in universe existence, and the number 6 is the opposite. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 2. Listen to reason. The existence of eternal nature is divided into time periods called cycles by universe scientists. These cycles of absolute nature are networks of natural laws and energies which cause all matter of nature to change for better or worse in circular manner, completing phases of circular changes as time progresses. And those completed phases are known as cycles of nature. To put it another way, the cycles of nature are similar to the time numbers on the face of a clock, and the laws and energies of nature are the hands of the clock that turn and complete the cycles, and are thereby parts of the cycle network. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 3. Listen to reason. Form 1 and Form 2 in this paragraph show circles divided into 4 equal quarters by perpendicular and horizontal lines. Like planet Earth has 4 seasons and cycles, all existence, called infinite eternal nature, does likewise have 4 major seasons and cycles. But whereas Mother Earth's seasons and cycles are measured in days, months, and years, absolute nature's seasons and cycles are measured in thousands, millions, and billions of years, when Almighty Nature is considered as a whole. The 2 circles in this paragraph are the same, and they show the sequence numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, which are the order in which the 4 equal quarters exist 1 degree at a time. This circle is called the circle of existence, or the existence circle, because it represents all of nature, all existence, 1 degree at a time. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 4. Listen to reason. Form 1 in the preceding paragraph shows the 4 major seasons of Almighty Nature, which are similar indeed to those of the short-term zodiac found in the American English Dictionary. But this circle is a 720-degree circle symbolizing all existence, all of nature, and turning counterclockwise opposite to the hands of a clock and existing 1 degree at a time. The spring season and first quarter of this circle are the revolution cycle. The summer season and second quarter are the origination cycle. The autumn, fall season and third quarter are the dorigination cycle. And the winter season and also fourth quarter are the evolution cycle. Moreover, circle shows very clearly that the epoch period known as evolution by scientists is only 1 quarter, 1/4 of the whole time circle. And knowing this is important because we never hear anything about the other 3 quarters of time and activities of the existing circle. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Point 5. Listen to reason. The point is this. What this writer is attempting to establish in the foreword of this composition is thus: where all persons, places and things are existing on the circle of existence right now, and the time it is for what activities, mentally, spiritually and physically. For instance, the origination, decline, of the third quarter of the existence circle is the mental, spiritual and physical processes of gradually undoing what origination, rise, of the second quarter did. And revolution, reverse of evolution, of the first quarter is the mental, spiritual and physical process of slowly undoing what evolution did. And the present time is the beginning of the revolution quarter and cycle. Note that point 3 of the circles in paragraph 3 of this topic is at rock bottom of the circles and at the foot of the vertical lines. Point 3 south on the circle of existence is where every person, place and thing exists right now at the time of this writing and moving counterclockwise in circular changes. The immediate time left of the vertical line at the bottom of the circle and represented by a dot, see Form 2 in paragraph 3, is the moon cycle slated to last 6,000 years, according to universe annals and science. On the long-term zodiac, bottom half of the circle in Form 4, which is in paragraph 8 of this topic, the Virgo cycle of absolute nature is the last 3 million years of the evolution cycle, and the moon cycle is the last 6,000 years of the Virgo cycle and evolution cycle. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Point 6. Listen to reason. Also, according to universe and nature science, the Libra cycle of the long-term zodiac of nature is indeed the first 3 million years of the revolution cycle, and the sun cycle, represented by a dot on the right side of the vertical line at bottom of the circle, is the first 6,000 years of the Libra and revolution cycle. The sun and moon of our solar system surely are natural opposites in absolute nature in this part of our universe, because the sun represents life and the living, and the moon represents death and the dead, mentally, spiritually, and physically. The main points this writer needs to get across to the reader and listener alike in this foreword topic follow. Where all persons and places plus things are right now on the circle of existence and what time it is, according to the timetable of universe annals known as the long-term zodiac. Where we all are right now is point 3 south on the existence circle, and what time it is definitely the change from the moon cycle, the cycle of forgiveness and also mercy of the Virgo cycle, to the sun cycle, the cycle of balance and justice and judgment of the Libra cycle. So, the writer of this booklet, Afro Unu, calls this change of cycles by Almighty and Absolute Nature, moonset and sunrise in the nature of nature, for the title of these writings. The moon setting and sun rising in the nature of nature mean it is mental resurrection and mental liberation time. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 7. Listen to reason. Form 3 in this paragraph is another form of the circle of all existence. And the advanced books known as Introduction to the Nature of Nature, which this booklet prepares the reader for, the existence circle is called the SMAT circle of order. The other circles shown in this foreword topic are various forms of the SMAT circle of order likewise. The 9 in the top half of this circle symbolizes the original and primary creator, Nupu. And the 6 in the bottom half emblemizes the evolutionary and secondary creator, Zupu. The bottom half of the circle is the counterworld and opposite of the top half. The top half is a circle of 360 degrees, and the bottom half is likewise 360 degrees because the halves are different worlds, different time zones, and different states of mind. For the top half, 9, is life and the living, and the bottom half, 6, is death and the dead. The two halves exist at opposite times, and the circle exists 1 degree at a time, and that 1 degree is all existence, all of nature, making a 1 degree circular change in all matter of Almighty nature. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 8. Listen to reason. The long-term zodiac, as shown in this paragraph in Form 4, is not an imaginary line of longitude and latitude, someplace in the sky. Instead, it is the animal world, which is the bottom half of the existence circle. And in universe language, this world of animals is called the Zup, instead of the zodiac. It is true, whereas the Zup is the bottom half of the circle of existence, the Nup is the top half as shown in Form 5 of this paragraph. Both the Nup and Zup are pronounced like they spelled, Nup and Zup. Like Form 2 in paragraph 3 of this topic, note that there are 2 dots in Form 4 at the bottom of the circle. The left dot denotes the moon cycle at the end of the Virgo cycle, and the right dot denotes the sun cycle at the beginning of the Libra cycle, where every person, place and thing existing definitely are right now at the time of this writing, and this is why it is mental resurrection time, so that the existence circle can go back up toward better standards and qualities of life, instead of the universe starting to disintegrate at point 3 of the existence circle. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 9. Listen to reason. Like the Nup, there are also 12 signs of the Zup zodiac, and these long-term signs, or cycles, last for 3 million years each. 1 degree of the circle is a time duration of 100,000 years, and the existence circle of order has 720 dots or degrees, 360 for life at the top half of the circle, and 360 for death at the bottom half. The bottom half, the Zup, the zodiac, is animals and their world, and the top half, the Nup, is gods and goddesses and their world. And remember, the circle exists only 1 dot or degree at a time, and that 1 degree is all of absolute nature, making 1 degree circular change in all matter of Almighty nature, and moving counterclockwise degree by degree, and eventually completing the whole circle of all existence back at the point where the circle begins. Point 3. The Nup is indeed represented by parts of the human person instead of animals like the Zup has. And the number 999 of the Nup, as shown in Form 4 of paragraph 8 of this topic, stands for 9 power and mentality in space, 9 power and mentality in matter, and 9 power and mentality in time. And the same holds true for the number 666 of the Zup. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 10. Listen to reason. Whereas the main purposes of this booklet are to impart some vital knowledge to the reader and listener alike, and prepare him and her for more advanced knowledge called Introduction to the Nature of Nature, also written by philosopher Afro Unu, the main purposes of this forward caption are to disclose the knowledge of where we all are right now on the universe timetable called the long-term zodiac, the Zup, and what mental and spiritual activities should be going on at this time. This writer repeats, where we all are on the circle of all existence is at point 3, at rock bottom of the space, matter and time circle. And the time is surely the mental resurrection and mental liberation time, so that the existence circle can go back upward in standards, qualities and values of absolute nature on the right side of the circle from rock bottom. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 11. Listen to reason. The writer knows this question will arise, and it should. How can we tell, or how do we know that we are all at point 3 on the circle of existence? All scientists like anthropologists, archaeologists, and geologists know that nature, including its peoples, has been in the evolution cycle for millions of years, and that mankind's evolve and activities act as a measuring meter on the progress of evolution. Taking this fact into consideration, we get the black race, the Ethiopian race, the brown race, the Phoenician race, the red race, the Indian race, the yellow race, the Mongolian race, and the white race, the Caucasian race, respectively. That is, in the order given here. The blacker a person is by nature, the more original that person is by color. Thereby, the Caucasian race, being white or representing the color white, is the last stage of evolution of mankind. Furthermore, there are 4 major stages of ethereal science, namely Noon, Nopanun, pantheism, and religion. And religion is the last evolutionary stage of ethereal philosophy. Moreover, ether spirit has many stages and levels, and the last 4 stages down through evolution are 6 ether spirit, 5 ether spirit, 4 ether spirit, and 3 ether spirit. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 12. Listen to reason. 3 ether spirit is the last evolutionary stage of ether spirit by nature, and this includes the spirit gods and goddesses of the universes. 3 ether spirit is ghost spirit, and ghost spirit, called Osiris, creator of religion, is the last spirit ruler of the evolutionary cycle before the advent of 9 mentality known as Nupu, who must push and pull the circle of existence upward on the right side toward better and higher standards, values and qualities in absolute nature, provided it is not time for the universes to start disintegrating at point 3 rock bottom, where all persons, places and things are existing right now at this writing. In addition, mankind itself, now has the capacity, ways and means to make planet Earth uninhabitable, non-livable, for all physically living beings, and is literally raping and destroying Mother Earth inside and outside, and polluting and contaminating the atmosphere surrounding her. This cannot continue indefinitely if Mother Goddess Earth and the universe plus their offsprings are to survive. This paragraph and the preceding one tell us how we know that we are all at rock bottom, point 3 on the big circle and time, mental resurrection and mental liberation of persons, places and things. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Point 13. Listen to reason. Afro Unu, the physical writer of this booklet, is a natural scientist by nature, and he is qualified and authorized by Nupu, the mental writer of this 9 news, to write and record and circulate 9 knowledge to those who want it and also need it for survival, better living and longer life. Afro Unu is the writer, philosopher, and messenger of 9 Reason Nupu, the original creator of all the worlds and mental spiritual resurrectionist of the mental dead, those who are spiritually ignorant about Almighty nature and its laws. Afro Unu by nature is a scientist of sound right reason, 9 Reason, reality, and the resurrection of the mental dead. You need to know the writer of this booklet not nearly as much as you need to know the correct information in this presentation. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Question: what is the name of the ethnic race of black people, and what is the origin of our black skin and our kinky hair? Point 14. Listen to reason. Let this writer first qualify the phrase black people. There are black people of different ethnic races, but usually when the phrase black people is used by someone, the person is referring to people who are members of the Ethiopian race. And this is appropriate because when the human races are designated by color, the analysis goes like this. The black race is the Ethiopian race, also called the African race, the original race, the Tarkinoid race, and the kinky-haired race. The brown race is the Phoenician race. The red race is the Indian race. The yellow race is the Mongolian race. The white race is the Caucasian race. And the colored race is the Mongoloid race. Moreover, blackness of the African race shines like the surface of the sun and its energies. Black skin of other ethnic races cannot shine this way, and not supposed to, because the Ethiopian race is direct descendants of the sun. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 15. Listen to reason. The tar in Tarkinoid race in the preceding paragraph is pronounced tar as in Utah, for the P is silent. However, if the pronouncer prefers to silence the T, then the pronunciation becomes par. Either pronunciation is appropriate, for tar refers to blackness and par refers to the standard. From among the various names given in this booklet for the African race, this writer prefers and uses most often the name Ethiopian race, because at one time all of Africa was called Ethiopia, and the Atlantic Ocean was known as the Ethiopian Sea. Moreover, the word Ethiopian shows close relations to the cosmos that the sons of absolute nature constitute, and the Ethiopian race is a posterity of the sons. To put it another way, the root of the word of the name Ethiopian is ether, An ether, called sunshine on planet Earth, is the energy who the suns produce. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 16. Listen to reason. So, since original ether, 9 ether, is indeed what produced the African race by way of the womb of Mother Earth, called the source of the Nile River at Lake Victoria on the equator in Africa, it is appropriate that all kinky-haired people everywhere be called Ethiopian by race. However, words like African and Sudanese, Nubian and Egyptian have practically the same meaning as Ethiopian philosophically, because all of these words are Latin or Greek words translated from an African language word meaning ether. That means black and shining with life. It is true that the penman of this booklet is definitely Ethiopian by race. And like all other kinky-haired people, he is a descendant of Nupu, the novenary and primary energies of the suns. Kinky hair means kingly hair. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 17. Listen to reason. Natural ether is the universe power and also principle in absolute nature that is life and light. Natural ether can be the fire of growth or the fire of decay. Natural ether is natural fire that naturally burns whatever or whoever it comes in contact with. And this is why when people go out on the beach in the sunshine, they become darker. For black people, this sunshine is within the genes and called melanin by mundane scientists and sun genes by universe scientists. And this means that black people have a built-in sun in their reproductive and circulatory systems that produces sun genes that burn the surface of the skin of black people. The difference between the sun genes of Ethiopian race, black people, and black people of other ethnic races is this. The sun genes of African people are originally produced by 9 ether, sun energies, and the sun genes of other black people are produced by 6 ether, sun energies. And this is why the black skin of African people of the Ethiopian race is supposed to shine, while black skin of other ethnic races does not. Non-ether originates in the top half of the circle of existence during the time that the top half exists, and 6 ether generates in the bottom half. And this means, of course, that non-ether is more potent and more positive scientifically than 6 ether is. And this is also why the African hair is kinky and that the other human races is not. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 18. Listen to reason. Kinky hair, same as saying kingly hair, is a symbol of originality in human beings, because when planet Goddess Earth was orbited from the sun more than 50 billion years ago in flames, her surface finally cooled off as her waters rained from the skies. Of course, at this time, the atmosphere of Mother Earth was extremely potent and positive with heat and humidity. Therefore, in order for flesh and blood living beings to survive this powerful atmosphere of Goddess Earth, they had to have sun genes within themselves strong enough to offset the sun genes and heat in this atmosphere of extreme high humidity. And sun genes this strong with heat and humidity always kink the hair of the living beings who possesses them within. And these original flesh and blood living beings, first born from the waters of Mother Goddess Earth at the source of the Nile River in equatorial Africa, were gods and goddesses with kinky hair by nature, who are the original ancestors and progenitors of the African black people of the Ethiopian race. Members of the Ethiopian race. This topic tells us why we produce black skin by nature and grow kinky hair on our heads by nature, and why we should be indeed very proud of both. This topic also tells us why the Ethiopian race's kinky hair, being the only human race with kinky hair on our heads by nature, has a very important and special meaning, and further explained in the booklets entitled Introduction to the Nature of Nature, also written by Afro Unu, the writer and messenger of Nupu and Nun. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what is our true spiritual science and positive history in the nature of nature? Point 19. Listen to reason. Show this writer the descendants of the very first people on planet Earth, and he will show you the growers of the planet while they were still in their fire form as melting down active brain nukes, which are the prime moving brain acid particles. And this means that all members of the Ethiopian race are synonymous with the original creator, because the essences, non-ether, of the original ancestors and procreators, gods and goddesses of the Ethiopian race, and the essences, non-ether, creative energies of the original creator were indeed the same. Therefore, by nature, the ethereal and spiritual science of the African race is the original and creation science of the universes called Nun. The African original creation powers of the universes are properly and scientifically called Nupu. Nupu is found in the American English Dictionary and in philosophy as Nous. And the original ethereal and spiritual science of Nous, Nupu, is Nun, the Ethiopian race science of all the worlds. More about Nous can be found in the book named Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James, found in bookstores. This book and those that follow, written by Afro Unu, describe of this science are the science of sound-right reason known as Nun. Nupu is the original mental and creation powers of almighty nature known as sound-right reason. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 20. Listen to reason. The history of black slavery in the Western hemispheres of planet Earth is well known by many or most, or even most people, and by constantly reminding members of the Ethiopian race about their negative history, other than telling ourselves never forget, enemies of the African race hope to perpetuate fear, inferior complex, and hopeless and worthless feelings amongst us. Enough has indeed been said, written and expressed and shown about our negative history, negative thinking, negative actions, and negative outlook. Now, racial relatives, let's get on with the obligation, ordeal, and task of renewing, recreating, and reclaiming our positive true culture and positive history, like who we are by nature in the positive. What is our racial potential by nature in the positive? What can we do right now toward our mental liberation and well-being in the positive? What we need to know and experience about our positive side for change, progress, and success, for better living and longer life. And without doubt, in our positive history, we must remind all that we, the Ethiopian race, are the first to give law, order, culture, and decorum to the world of peoples before we ourselves were indeed deceived and supplanted by physical and spiritual enemies, negative forces and powers of evolution, whose time it was to rule on planet Earth. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 21. Listen to reason. Members of the African race, let's go on and forward with making history, positive history, instead of just talking and reading about our negative past for the last 6,000 years. And we can do this by finding and using our positive, natural potential as a human race of nature. And we can recreate and practice our positive culture by utilizing sound right reason, also called nine reason, the laws of nature, and all our natural abilities in general in unity with each other. We Ethiopians by race do find our positive history and positive true culture in the science Noon and the African powers called Nupu, the positive reason ability of the Ethiopian race. The future positive history of the African race includes giving true culture to the world of peoples again, including decent decorum, laws of nature, and the knowledge of well-being to the world of peoples, although we Africans fell victim after that good deed. This time, however, the circle of existence is beginning to go upward our way instead of downward, the way that victimizes the Ethiopian race by nature. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what is our true culture and natural heritage in the nature of nature? Point 22. Listen to reason. When this author, Afro Unu, uses the word culture in this booklet, he means cultivation mentally, physically, and spiritually in the form of nature education by sound right reason for determining conduct, decorum, and behavior of persons and things as a way of life for distinguishing knowledge from ignorance and rightness from wrongness, truth from falsehood, justice from iniquity, honesty from deception, reality from delusion, reason from belief, etc. In other words, true culture is everyday conduct and activities of people based upon absolute nature, sound right reason, and the laws of nature as a way of life and death. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 23. Listen to reason. Therefore, the pursuit of the nature of nature and its laws by way of nine reason via nature knowledge, nature understanding, and nature wisdom is the true culture of the African race called the Ethiopian race. The Ethiopian race, civilized, to use a Caucasian term, the other human races of the world before falling victim by nature to the adverse forces of evolution, those that are the enemies of the Ethiopian race. The negative forces of nature that brought the world and its peoples to the brink of despair and destruction, morally and otherwise, are not of the nature to pull the circle of existence upward instead of downward. Nupu and Noon must do that with nature knowledge and nine mentality, the powers and science of survival and well-being for the positive. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 24. Listen to reason. According to what has already been stated in this correct information, of course, Noon, the science of sound right reason of which this booklet is part, is the beginning of the natural heritage and legacy of the Ethiopian race, because it gives kinky-haired people what we need for a mental and spiritual power base to accomplish what we need for survival and well-being as individuals and as a human race. Like our racial relatives on the African continent, the original motherland of all kinky-haired people, Africa and all it has to offer our heritage too, hence, all African descendants who do not live on the land known as Africa should connect ourselves to our racial relatives there in a similar manner as Jews do with Israel and other Caucasians do with Europe, and strive for a similar results by unity and relativity. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Point 25. Listen to reason. It is sad indeed how members of all other ethnic races have jewelry stores, companies, and businesses that buy and sell very valuable precious stone, precious metals, and precious minerals like diamonds, gold, oil, and other very valuable, desirable substances. But not members of the African race in the United States of America, although our continent Africa is the richest in matters of this sort on planet Earth. The point is this: African Americans and African descendants everywhere must wake up and help our racial relatives in Africa rebuild and reculture Africa and do what should be done for the benefits of safety and economic security for us all. And this is our natural heritage and positive legacy, beginning with Nupu and Nun, the powers and science that bring out the best not only in members of the Ethiopian race, but all races. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Question: what is our racial potentiality and future outlook in the nature of nature? Point 26. Listen to reason. According to the circle of existence, the Ethiopian race is the only ethnic race capable of compassing, going all the way around the whole existent circle, because in the top half of the circle, we exist as flesh and blood gods and goddesses. And in the bottom half of the circle, the African race exists as demigods and demi-goddesses and human beings, descendants of the flesh and blood gods and goddesses who exist in the top half during the time that the top half of the circle exists. Therefore, the potential ability and capacity of the Ethiopian race is as limitless as flesh and blood beings can be. What Nupu, the African powers of nature, will do is wake up, develop, and refine our capacities and abilities of nature as they come due. And part of the process of doing this is Nun, the ethereal science of Nupu, like this positive information. Hence, we kinky-haired people have the potential of becoming demigods, part god and part human, in the bottom half of the circle of existence and reach full godhood in the top half when it exists. And the path to this status is upward in mentality and increase in reasonability, standards, and moral values by sound right reason and the laws of nature in the positive. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Point 27. Listen to reason. Without Nupu and Nun, the positive powers and sciences of absolute nature and the Ethiopian race, the future outlook of kinky-haired people looks gloomy and indeed full of deceit and despair as far as producing and contending in the world like other peoples of other races and avoiding the scapegoat role and underlining role among peoples and being the tool of adjustable wrench to be used to adjust anything that goes wrong in a society. The time must come for black people, members of the African race, to stop and desist wearing the label of dumbness, laziness, and shiftlessness put on us by individuals of other ethnic races and even by us ourselves. The only way we can truly call them wrong is by our works to the contrary of their accusations and not just words. Just rhetoric, talk, can only be blueprint, direction, and guides for what must be accomplished, for action is needed to get the job done. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 28. Listen to reason. No person or persons of other human races are going to liberate us kinky-haired people from the adverse conditions that we find ourselves in. We ourselves must do that which reasonability and the laws of nature by help of Nupu and Noon. We kinky-haired people can count on the same adversities from the same enemies of the Ethiopian race and the same miserable conditions created by them and us until we embrace Noon and Nupu. The Ethiopian race's positive powers and science of almighty nature that do bring out the best in not only the African race but all peoples. It is true that Africa is wherever the African is in his and her right mind, and the right mind is the resurrected and liberated mind by Nupu and Noon. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: is racism a fact of life by nature, or is it caused by other nature of man motives? Point 29. Listen to reason. The answer to this question is both, because the answer depends on what kind of racism the person has in mind. The fact that nature produced various human races who look different and have different natures suggests racism, which is simply the natural honor, support, and respect a person has for his or her own kind, while recognizing and respecting the natural rights of other people of other ethnic races to do the same. There is nothing wrong with equal racism, because racism exists by nature, in fact, whether we like it or not. It is one-sided racism that is diabolical and wrong and will eventually destroy those who promulgate, preach it, and practice it. Those transgressors of nature's laws will be destroyed by the laws of nature in nature's processes of balancing off individuals, societies of individuals, nations of individuals, and races of individuals. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 30. Listen to reason. One-sided racist believes that he or she is someone special by divinity or greater mentality or both, and is thereby a privileged person over other peoples of other racial posterities. And it is true that this position may exist temporarily, like it already has, because it is also true that there are spirit beings who aid and abet one-sided racism. And this activity was a feature of the moon cycle, the cycle of forgiveness and mercy, and no holds barred. It is likewise true that if the ruling spirit beings of our planet Earth favor a particular group, nation, or race of people, those people favored will surpass others in their endeavors mentally, spiritually, and economically during the time of their favored dominion, because spirit beings are programmers and controllers of persons, places, and things. Then too, evolution itself shows favoritism in its processes of changes in matter for worse. Therefore, the race of people best off at the beginning of evolution will indeed be worst off at the end of evolution. And that ethnic race is definitely the Ethiopian race. And this means that negative evolutionary forces of nature automatically created enemies of the African race by nature. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 31. Listen to reason. Therefore, the answer to the question, is racism a fact of life by nature, or is it caused by other nature of man motives? Follows, the answer is both. If a person believes in one-sided racism, the God whom he or she believes in supports that position, and the evil person may also be driven by hate and the powers of the spirit dead called negromancy that emanates from the God whom he or she believes in. Moreover, the one-sided racist may be driven not only by hate and necromancy, which is powers of the dead, but also by need, greed, or desire for material wealth, an easy living plus an oppressive nature, which is indicative and typical of the spirit dead upon those they disfavor or dislike. The foregoing correct information constitutes the evil religious spell Caucasians sometimes tell members of the Ethiopian race that they are cursed with. And it is not the sun-black skin and kinky hair, because these qualities of superiority in human beings, but what is surely, but unfortunately, missing from members of the Ethiopian race, which will make us equal with members of other human races, is our sound right reasonability. And Nupu, who is sound right reason, also called nine reason, is now returning from the centers of universe orbs like the sun, earth, and moon in its positiveness in the form of positive atmosphere and nine mentality. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Point 32. Listen to reason. The preceding correct information about evil spells and curses is the negative news, but the nice news, nine and positive news, is this. Now that the moon cycle, marking the end of the Virgo cycle, is over and the sun cycle, marking the beginning of the Libra cycle, is starting, it is true that persons, places, and things, by laws of nature, have begun to balance off and balance out for better in the revolution cycle rather than for worse as it was in the evolution cycle. And the upward better balance trend will indeed continue indefinitely. That is to say, until the Ethiopian race reaches tip-top of the existence circle again, in the persons of the flesh and blood gods and goddesses from whom the African race surely descended from. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 33. Listen to reason. While on race relations, let this scientist of nine knowledge inject this note. When an ethnic race is an underling to other human races, the women of that oppressed race be used as sexual dumping grounds by any male who calls himself a human being. This social evil is not only degrading to the females of the race, but the race as a whole. And in the case of the Ethiopian race, it destroys the purity, dignity, and respect of our race. For example, it has been said that if a Caucasian person has the equivalent of 1 drop of African race blood in his or her veins, that person is not Caucasian and will not be accepted as a member of the Caucasian race. This means that whether it be a black man and Caucasian woman or a white man and a black woman, their offspring would have to go for black, because he or she, if background is known, will not be accepted in the Caucasian race, no matter how Caucasian the mixed offspring might look. This is destruction or genocide of our ethnic race by miscegenation, because the racially mixed person will be forced to become a member of the Ethiopian race by one-sided rejection by the Caucasian race and one-sided acceptation by the Ethiopian race. Let it be remembered always and let it be known. Point 34. Listen to reason. We Ethiopian race males must teach our women and younger females to be sexual dumping grounds neither for Caucasian men nor men of other ethnic races, and teach them why it is not in the best interest of the African race, mentally, spiritually, morally, and physically. And we Ethiopian race males must guide them by setting examples for them, as well as educating them on the wrongness of miscegenation and interracial mixing sexually. The sexual dumping on our beautiful black race must stop and desist if we black people of African descent are to survive as a race with dignity and definite identity, which is our kinky hair and our sunshiny black skin when we are in our purity. The practice of one-sided and hate-mongering racism is wrong, evil, and will be destroyed by the laws of nature in their balancing processes for better standards of living, now that the Libra cycle for liberation and justice are here and active. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what is life and what is death? And is there life after death? Point 35. Listen to reason. Some people are taught to believe that each time a person is born, he or she has a new soul who never existed before. This is not true. But what is true is that the baby just born has a new body that never existed before, and the new body must produce life for itself if it is to continue to live after birth. The umbilical cord of the mother provides life for the embryo and fetus during the gestation period before the infant is born. It is not an individual spirit being called a soul that keeps the body alive, because spirit beings survive on the food and blood of the living body themselves. In other words, it is just the opposite of what religionists teach. Instead of spirit beings being the lives of people, people are the lives of spirit beings, because life itself is indeed a burning. The burning can be conscious or unconscious, constructive or destructive. There exists the life of life and the life of death. The life of life exists in the top half of the circle of existence during the time that the top half exists. And the life of death has being in the bottom half on the same circle. Like life, death lives. Otherwise, it could not be active and reverse life. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 36. Listen to reason. Life springs from an acid base and is perpetuated, continued by that acid base. Of course, acid burn, so hence life is a burning. Like the acid in a car battery is the life of the car. The car is made active by gas burning, and the person is made active by blood burning. Brain newts that create brains from other matter are acid particles that produce mind and reason energy, who carry out the creation work of brain newts, who are called the prime mover. When a baby is born, the attending physician or midwife makes sure that the infant is breathing. And if it is not inhaling and exhaling, the baby gets a spanking to excite and activate the brain and nervous system into action, because otherwise the child will die, unless it is stillborn, born dead already. When the baby actively starts to breathe, the oxygen, air it breathes, goes to the lungs, and the acid in the blood in its lungs burns the oxygen the child breathes. And that burning is natural electricity called ether, which is life. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 37. Listen to reason. When the natural electricity, ether who is the burning, reaches the brain, it lights up the brain like a bulb. Then the person not only has life, but consciousness with that life, because he or she can then see, feel, taste, hear, and smell. Therefore, a person sees, feels, tastes, hears, and smells with his or her mental organ, the brain, the organ of consciousness, by way of the nervous system of the brain. The brain stays alive with the organ of oxygen, the lungs, and the organ of blood, the heart, which the brain grew for its survival. Marrow of the bones, the spinal cord, and the nervous systems of a person or thing are extensions, roots, and branches of the brain of a being. Of course, the nervous systems of a person are found throughout the physical person. Then too, there is nothing mysterious about the breath of life, for it is oxygen. The point is this: when the burning stops, that is the end of the individual's personal life, because the purpose of the body is to provide the conditions necessary for the burning. That is life. And when it fails to do that, life ends. In addition, the purpose of the body is to continue life and to be the tool that the brain uses for survival and support, pleasure and pain. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 38. Listen to reason. Like the engine of a car gives off carbon monoxide, the lungs of a person gives off carbon dioxide. Carbon is residue of a burnt substance or gas. The point is this: an individual inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide is evidence of burning taking place in the lungs and throughout the circulatory system of a living person. And this is why the body of a living person is warm and that of a dead person is cold. Open your mouth and blow your breath on the back of your hand and feel how warm it is. And you will know that burning is taking place. Oxygen being burnt by blood and creating natural electricity called natural ether, which is life. Then too, what about the static electricity that causes clothes to cling to the body? This is further proof that life is indeed natural electricity, known as natural ether, who is the life of all living persons and things in one degree or another throughout the universes. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 39. Listen to reason. Death is also a burning, but whereas life is a burning for construction and growth, death is a burning for destruction and decay. That is to say, life and death are certainly opposite processes. Death is a burning too, because death lives, and this is why death is active and rules the bottom half of the circle of all existence. As already stated, life is a burning, natural electricity called natural ether. And when that burning stops, that is the end of life, and death starts as a reverse burning, which may be called a cold burning. That is to say, the undoing of what life has done. At death, or just before death of a person or thing, the spirit being or spirit beings who possessed was incarnate in the person during his or her gestation period in his mother's womb, or became incarnate at birth of a person, takes leave from the dying or dead person or thing and seeks refuge elsewhere. Most likely become incarnate in another person or thing, and this transmigration of what is called souls or spirits from body to body is known as metempsychosis in the American English Dictionary. This is what actually does happen at death of a person or thing, but there is no individual, personal spirit or soul that goes on beyond the death of the body. The spirits who become incarnate in people existed already in time immemorial. The purpose of the body is to produce the burning, life. And when the burning ends, life ends, because the condition that keeps the burning going is among the organs of the body and not outside. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 40. Listen to reason. Of all the various kinds of life that can exist, the most vital one next to physical life for a person is mental life, which includes spiritual life. Mental life is knowing who self is by race and by nature, knowing who others are by race and by nature, and knowing who absolute nature is by laws and by reason, that is to say, by ethereal and scientific knowledge about Almighty nature. Of all the various kinds of death that can exist, the most devastating one next to physical death of a people is mental death, that surely includes spiritual death. Mental death is just the opposite of mental life. Victims and sufferers of mental death are the mental dead, who this booklet and other books called Introduction to the Nature of Nature, written by Afro Unu, are designed to help mentally resurrect and liberate from the adverse forces of mental death of people. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what and where is the creator of the universes, and the persons, places, and things thereof? Point 41. Listen to reason. The Creator did not just create some persons and things at the beginning of life and order, and then stop creating, because he and she are still creating. And the way they created persons and things originally is the same way they still do, and that way is by growing them. Creating does not mean making something from nothing, which is impossible. Creating means formulating, forming, constructing, building, manufacturing, composing, constituting, generating, concentrating, or growing persons, places, or things from matter or material already existing. The Creator is all space, all matter, and all time, and that all is nature. The space of nature is infinite vacuum. The matter of nature is anything and everything that occupies space. And the time of nature is the continuation of the existence of infinite vacuum and infinite matter. Note that the true and nature science definition of matter is, the writer repeats, anything and everything that occupies space. When a person reasons out and rationally analyzes this definition of matter, he or she comes to know that matter is the Almighty together with space and time. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 42. Listen to reason. Matter is the Almighty, and the Creator is in the Almighty. The Creator is in all matter in one degree or another, that is to say, in various degrees. In nature, universe, science, the prime mover in matter is called brain newts. The prime mover is the first particles of matter to make the first move toward putting persons, place, or thing into creation order, and universe scientists label these particles brain newts. Brain newts create, meaning grow brains. And as brain matter accumulates and consolidates, it produces energy called mind and reason. And reason uses mind and also other energies in matter, as well as itself, to grow persons and things. What causes the prime mover, brain newts, to move toward formula, life, and order are the proper conditions, laws of nature, and the cycle in season suitable for the being who is to come into life, form, and system as an entity. These requirements and principles of nature hold true whether the entity is going to be one of the largest organisms of nature, like a universe, or some of the smallest, like bacteria. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 43. Listen to reason. Brain newts, the Creator, via the energy reason, are in all matter throughout infinite absolute nature. Brain newts are microscopic and macroscopic, meaning a person can neither see them with the naked eyes nor with a microscope. But we can hear them, or we can hear with them, smell with them, taste with them, feel with them, physically and emotionally, and see dreams and visions with them. The understanding of this topic explains why there are countless different living creatures and organisms on and in planet Earth that no God someplace in the sky would ever think about creating or indeed ever care about creating. And this means that the matter of absolute nature is all there ever was, all there is, and all there will ever be, meaning matter is the Almighty forever, together with space and time. Matter, by way of its brain newts and reason, is the Creator, eternally. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: what is the meaning of the resurrection according to nature science? Point 44. Listen to reason. Any intelligent person can reason out that there is no such thing that one day the bodies of all physically dead people are going to rise from their graves and other resting places and take on form and life again. To start with, that is against the laws of nature, which require physical living beings to go through the gestation, birth, and growth process to have material being that is for real and not an illusion. And furthermore, even if a physical resurrection could and would happen, there would not be enough room on planet Earth to hold all human bodies that existed, going back to the beginning of evolution and death 18 million years ago. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 45. Listen to reason. According to nature science, the philosophy of Nupu, like planet Earth has 4 major seasons, the same is true for the circle of existence, all existence in general. See Form 1 in the foreword topic of this booklet. As all of nature exists 1 degree at a time on the existence circle, its circular change in all matter turn counterclockwise, the turn of order and opposite to the hands of a clock. And when absolute nature arrives at point 3 south, see Form 1 again, from point 6 west on the left of the circle, it has finished the winter cycle of the universes and then begins to enter the spring cycle of the universes of Almighty nature. So, going beyond point 3 south counterclockwise calls for the 9 ether mentality energy of the universe spring cycle to wake up and start to emanate from the centers of the suns, like spring sap emanates from the roots of trees and plants after winter. And this 9 energy reaches the centers of the planets and satellites of the solar system of the universe. And the planets and satellites begin to permeate energies more positively than before. And the mental resurrection of persons, places, and things has begun together with the universe orbs. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 46. Listen to reason. Now that the universe orbs and bodies like the sun, earth, and moon are decreasing in 6 ether energy and mind and increasing in non-ether energy and mentality, someone has to herald and usher in this change from universe winter, the evolution cycle, to universe spring, the revolution cycle. And that someone is Afro Unu, the writer and messenger of Nupu, whose science is noon, like the correct information in this presentation. Nupu is the original creator and the original prime mover of the universes and is also resurrectionist of the mental dead. The mental dead are all peoples and persons of peoples who are ignorant about the basic ethereal knowledge of absolute nature and the laws of nature as verified by sound right reason, Nupu, and positive 9 science, noon. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 47. Listen to reason. There is something this writer wishes indeed to clarify before closing this topic. Whereas the 4 seasons called spring, summer, autumn, and winter of planet Earth may deal mainly with weather, temperature, and vegetation changes, the 4 seasons of all existence, all of nature, likewise deal with changes in mentality, morals, standards, abilities, qualities, and values of Almighty Nature in seasonal ways as pertaining to persons, places, and things. Therefore, the resurrection is mental instead of physical, in the sense that dead bodies will rise from physical graves. The resurrection of people's mentality, awakening and rising from the graves of ignorance and deception about Almighty Nature and its laws, and learning what we human beings must know and do in order to live in physical safety and economic security, plus peace and contentment. Reader and also listener alike, try to be one of those who learn nature knowledge, advocate it, and practice it. For this means that you are indeed rising from the grave of mental darkness, despair, and deception toward a longer and better life, and will survive Armageddon, the climax war between rightness and wrongness, knowledge and ignorance, truth and falsehood, honesty and deception, justice and iniquity, lawfulness and lawlessness, balance and imbalance, positive culture and negative culture. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Question: where can a person learn more about what is written in this booklet, which is about true culture and the mental resurrection? Point 48. Listen to reason. Since non-nature science is not just a lot of beautiful words and fictitious rhetoric, and since positive nature knowledge is not just more delusion and deception that peoples like to be victimized by, but reality and reason instead, it seems to be more difficult for people to be attracted to positive nature science, which is correct information, knowledge, and truth. Moreover, fear of the unknown, evil spells and curses of the negative forces of nature, and fear of the new and untried repel people of negative nature and cause them to be suspicious and superstitious of nine knowledge, as in this booklet. It can be said then that some people are susceptible to nine science and others are not. However, this booklet is designed and dedicated to be a springboard to deeper and greater knowledge of absolute nature via this liberation and resurrection information. This correct information is the preparation presentation required to help you simplify and understand the writings of the books called Introduction to the Nature of Nature, also written by Afro Unu, the philosopher, writer, and messenger of Nupu and Nun, the Ethiopian race powers and positive science of all the worlds. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Point 49. Listen to reason. Reader and listener to the reader of this message, it is not important whether you know the writer well, barely, or none at all personally. But what is important, and very important, is that you know what he writes, because his writings are designed, dedicated, and obligated by nature to bring individuals, groups of individuals, nations of individuals, and races of individuals up to date in ethereal science, true culture knowledge, and also standards, where we all are on the circle of existence and the time it is to do what by nature. But there is one thing the reader needs to know about the writer of this Nine News. It is so that he is a member of the Ethiopian race by nature. Where we all are is at moonset and sunrise in the nature of nature, and it is time to rise from the mental dead and take our places in the lighthouse and powerhouse of the sun. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known. Postscript. In the top half of the circle of existence, where Ethiopian race ancestry exist as flesh and blood gods and goddesses, during the time that the top half exists, these gods and goddesses indeed have sunshiny jet black skin, and all of their hair is helix, helio, sun, hair, shaped like a spring, spiral, and sononoid like the hair of the suns. In the bottom half of the existence circle, the descendants of these gods and goddesses, the Ethiopian race, have some helix hair among and mixed with other shapes included the cipher, 0, and the other 9 numerals and digits. Therefore, the sononoid symbol is the apex, top shape and form of the Ethiopian race hair configuration toward which spiral our woolly hair will continue to grow until it is completely helix again. But for now, we Africans are called the numbers race because we grow the numerals, the cipher and 9 digits on our heads by nature. Of course, sun helix hair is also kinky hair. The gist of the matter is this: the gods and goddesses that the African race originated from had sunshiny jet black skin and tightly twisted helix hair, helio hair, sun hair. And these physical qualities plus roundness, as well as their spiritual, moral and mental standards, qualities, values, abilities and capacities, are the summit goals that positive members of the Ethiopian race will be moving upward toward automatically, as by cycle, that is to say, by nature, as the existence circle indeed revolves back upward on the right side. Let it be remembered always, and let it be known.